Greetings, everyone. That's broadcast. So 60 Minutes just had their, I saw some of it on YouTube about the UFO disclosure, and some of them look kind of scared with some of the people that were talking about it. Yeah, that's fine. So it's like, and they call it something else, like whatever they call it. They changed the name of it because they're scared. Instead of just call it UFO disclosure, they call it like unidentified flying phenomenon, something like that. UAP or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a joke, but well, we're getting somewhere, I guess, huh? The agenda. It feels like it's hard to say what they're doing with this. I always say expect more. Then they're going to have the June situation. They're going to have hearings on it. I mean, it's all just a bunch of BS, but it seems like we're going in that direction slowly. Not going to have little green men or anything like that, which would be awesome. Or a robot. They have just a robot come out of a spaceship. That'll scare the hell out of everybody. But we can dream. We can dream, though. Where am I going with all that? Concentration. Just thinking about robot aliens landing. Yeah, so they're going to do through Congress. I guess in June they're going to have this. All the Pentagon stuff's going to come out, and they're going to have hearings in the government. Oh, this is what I was getting at. Sorry. Yeah, when I hit that, so something's up. Normally I don't run into this thing. It's a keyboard. Yeah, it feels like China is what I'm getting. They're trying to blame this on China. It might be Russia, but I'm not getting that. It's not yet. It could be, but they're trying to blame this on somebody. Like the Chinese developed this, I mean, of course they developed everything else, right? At least the vibe I'm getting is from that. So who knows? I mean, they're going to try to figure. They're trying to humanize this whole thing. So then they might talk about Palladians or Syrians, maybe as like a joke, possibly. This is what the internet's saying. So who knows? Yeah. And was it Rubio was on there? What is his name? He's from Florida, actually. Rubio. I don't have his picture up here, but and he was like biting his lip and things like that. So he was nervous as hell talking about this. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously he signed up for it, but he looked pretty nervous. And so this is on 60 Minutes. So you can look on YouTube. It has 60 Minutes of UFO. That's how I found it. That's the quickest. Anywhere else, I don't know how you'll find it. They have segments. I think they had the whole segment on there. I don't know, but it wasn't very long. But I don't know. They look kind of. The people that were being interviewed look kind of nervous. So it's kind of humorous. Let's just get on with it, right? So we'll see about that. So no, this is Thomas Merlin. So I'll post this up here. So if you'll do a search on his name, I posted in the social network and posted it. This is not new. I've seen this around, but I never really dabbed. I didn't realize it was a person that found all this stuff. So he has like pictures of fairies, like skeletons of fairies, and I think a werewolf. I think something like a dragon. Those things exist now. Is that stuff real? It can be, it can't be, but that stuff is real somewhere. So I think it's another version. I'll show it in a second. And then Spirit Guide, Alien Spirit Guide, channeling basically. I've been going through the constellations and connecting those different constellations. Basically, a lot of those alien beings from other constellations you've never heard of are spirit guides. Like you have a star, like a blue star, a red, whatever. You just look through the constellations, and what do you feel like some of your spirit guides are connected to? It'll give you a little more clarity because what do aliens do all day besides you know, look perfect or whatever, or destroy each other, whatever. I mean, there are a lot of alien spirit guides, and they're not always in spirit. A lot of them are in fourth dimension, fifth dimension. So when I was tapping into it yesterday, I could feel some of that energy. I forgot what place it was, but it was one of those bizarre, can't pronounce the thing. But what I was getting the vibe from that is like these alien beings. They don't have any problem. They're just floating around all day, and they're like, okay, we're gonna help this person, and they're like, I felt them kind of like arguing with a person, with each other. It's like, I don't know how to manage this person. Well, I thought you said you knew what you were doing. Something like that. That's encouraging, but that's how they learn. So yeah, they get different perspectives because they are closer to our dimension. So even if they are sixth dimension, whatever. So either way, they're still part of this whole thing. So like spirit beings, I feel like they're just in a spirit dimension where they don't have to do anything. To float around, it's just basically energy. Because that's my perspective of it. And then if you have an alien, you have to take a form. Of course, you can take a form of spirit too, but normally it's anyway. You get confused with all that stuff, but anyway, it's not that important. Well, it's important, but it's probably not going to go anywhere with a lot of people, so I don't bother. As I've been talking to comment private sessions, I'm going to shop here. I'm on the 1st, May 1st, so it's 16 days for delivery for some people. Some people it's more than that. Today I didn't really get a whole lot done. I did as much as I could. Same situation here. The webinar signed up, social network, and this is where some of this stuff here posted. Anyway, you can see in the rabbit behind the scenes and dating site. So we're gonna skip to the museum here, and imagine everyone's seen this somewhere. I know I've seen some of this stuff, but I didn't know there was like a whole side of it. So if you look up Merrylin, or it's in the social network. But yeah, it's let's see here. I'm not sure what that is. Is it apparently a vampire? There's a dragon head. Oh, this is a fairy. I mean, I can see this stuff as real, but people are not ready for anything, so I'm not gonna bother with. But it is kind of interesting. I mean, he goes on this. This one guy finds all this stuff, and apparently there's a lot of it. That's a Dracula. Is that a Wolfman? I'm assuming. I mean, these things do exist. Now, if all this real is another story, but my feeling of this is a form of disclosure. I mean, for our world, it's kind of all screwed up. Seeing a bunch of skeletons makes people feel a little bit better. It's just the way our world thinks, basically. So it's a dragon. So it's pretty fat. I mean, this looks like the Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, that's nice. So, yeah, I mean, this stuff is real. Gee, their site keeps freezing. There's the dragon. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I don't know if this stuff's all real, but it looks. I mean, I don't know why I would waste your time making all this stuff, but it's pretty fascinating. Nevertheless, that's part of. No matter what, that is part of disclosure. So that's my cat's outside. They want to come in, they want to go out. They can't make up their mind. So they're outside right now. So yeah, Thomas Merrill, is it Merlin, something like that. So I tapped in some of that energy. maybe. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be tapping into here. So UFO disclosure, because it's constantly changing. So they put this out publicly, so it's a little bit easier to tap into it, sort of. Obviously, they're not going to make things known. I mean, obviously, you can go into astral and find out, and then come back sick or dead, whatever comes first, because you can get too much from. Yeah, I've learned that already. Sometimes the less you know, the better. So yeah, it's almost yeah. You get in the astral and you try to get more knowledge, and you end up feeling sick, and your mind's all screwed up. So it's not worth it. Especially when it comes to this whole UFO thing. It's just getting kind of interesting. Most likely, at this point, I feel China, but we'll see. Um, all right, going to the UFO disclosure energies. Channel that. I'm not sure. I guess Arcturians. I don't know. Whoever's around for that, and we'll go to this Thomas Merrill person. Maybe I channel his. I'm not trying to pronounce his name. Right? Who cares? All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are yes from spirit. We can tell you what we are allowed to say. As you can see, you're opening up UFO timelines at a gradual level where humans can handle it. So it's not going to make sense. Some of you just want to know everything, obviously. But for your rest of your public, they're going to ignore a great deal of this. They're going to be laughing. They're going to be, going through their internal seizure about it, or ignoring it. But this is a form of basically bringing it to the public. So get used to these type of talks. There's a government, TV and all that. Little by little, they're going to start to explore it more and uncensor it. Now, is it accurate or not? No, but for the public is what the public can handle. So it's something. Yes, it is. All that's humans. Many of you aren't always tapping into the human consciousness, but you can feel a lot of fear there. And this is not a topic on their minds for the most part. But this is showing your world going through an upgrade. So expect more of this type of conversations, maybe go nowhere, but it is going into the Earth psyche of even going into the X-Files, and people are going to start exploring that a little bit more, and just because when humans know about UFOs, when you actually have a true UFO here, the body can cause you a lot of problems if you're not ready for it. Yes, it can cause death. It can cause heart attacks. Seriously. So this is the only way to ease it into the public consciousness. Some might disagree with that, but you see how it's being spoon-fed to your society. So expect a lot of this still to be in the background. Expect it to come more slowly into, being brought up little by little, and just still in the background. And you can believe it or not, all you want, doesn't really matter. This is a government psyop and all that, of course. Woku is putting it out. Woku has been keeping it hidden, and now Woku is putting it into your public. So, of course, they are combing through it. But it does not mean this is not part of your disclosure movement. It might not be the one you're looking for, most likely not. But this is a step forward. Even if you don't like the delivery of it, we don't say you have to accept any of this or believe in any of it, but it is what the public is needing. Make your own connections. That's what matters. Your own spiritual. That's what matters most. All of this is just. This is how you deliver into the society. Well, this is how it's being done. So we just said expect more of the following months, more of this type of delivery into society. Once again, it doesn't mean you have to believe in any of it or, know it's just a bunch of government psyop energies. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is the new normal for now. And it'll be mostly from what we see in the background. It won't be in the foreground just yet. It'll be talked about, but not a main headline. It's going to come out here and there, but buried for the most part. But it's still going to be talked about. So it's like turning the river around. The waters. It's shift. So once again, it's probably isn't what many of you are looking for. But when you think about the rest of your population, that this is not a topic that's on their mind at all. They have other things to do, going to work, surviving. UFOs not on their right, and that's not on their to-do list. So, but it is part of your upcoming reality. Timelines are being opened up, and we don't see them closing anytime soon. So, that's what we have at this time. Once again, you can take your own assessments of it, your own points of view. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's not going to be the clearest energy at this time. That's all we can say at this time. Greetings. My name is Thomas Merlin. So these objects are real. In my point of view, are real. I was seen as a huckster during my time. Now, how I accumulated these objects is by those that I had known. Much of it was destroyed. Well, it wasn't looked for. I was looking for these things. The fairies, the skeletons of dragons. I was looking for them, so I found them and kept them. Much of it was just not taken seriously. So it's like going through thrift stores and finding a dragon skeleton. But obviously, I had connections. So, and yes, you can say I had a spiritual elite energy there to expose a lot of this, or to bring it more into your public. And there's also skeletons of giants, which I did not accumulate for myself, but I knew it does exist. And you do too. So my time was just to bring this to, obviously before the public was ready, but I was feeling that the public was ready for it. And technically a lot of them were, but I was shunned by the elites. So skeletons of dragons, of fairies. To me, people were actually open-minded. That was a different world back then. There was a lot of open-minded people, and there still are today. Just now you have more propaganda than you ever had before. So it's people are a lot more mature at that time. In your world, they're raised not to be mature. You can have a more mature society where you can have aliens and all of that easily, but as you can see, the way people are being raised these days is for, to simplify everything and to not know yourself. It's all done by design. Yeah, your elites have a specific way of how to raise a child. They talk about something that takes a long time to design. But yeah, they want to close the soul. They want to close your connection to it. And that's why most people don't believe in spirit guides. But there was a time when, because more of technology is being brought into your society, more speaking about spirit guides and spirit beings and aliens, always going to be part of your society, actually. But obviously, it got shut down. And how you raise your kid was manipulated greatly on a massive scale. So, really, the main agenda was to shut down the society through the children, the way they're raised. And now you have a society currently now. Things can be so much different if they just left it alone. If your controllers here left everything, you know. So, but obviously, I have several agendas. But many of you are here to still allow the disclosure energies to come through, and my knowledge to become. Now, if you believe it or not, it's up to you. You know these things do exist. You can manifest the truth anytime you want. Some are still not. Some say they're ready, but they're not always ready. And it's a tough readiness, as some of you know. So when you see a dragon skeleton, actually see it. And some of you are prepared for that, but are you ready for the dragon itself to appear? And some of you are. Those are few numbers. But that's what you're leading up to. Doesn't mean you're going to have a dragon here anytime soon, but you are leading up to that direction. More of these discussions become part of society. Talk about, my work, UFO work. It becomes more part of mainstream talk. Of course, there's going to be manipulations there, of course, because they want to shut it down. But a lot of the elites, some of them are okay with it. They want to see where you're going to go with it. So it's entirely up to you to, yes, find your own truth, basically. But, yeah, it's connected to the energies of my work and make your own decisions, of course. But, yes, the truth will set your inner self free. What do you believe? You know these beings, the fairies definitely are, all these things exist. Not everyone wants a werewolf in their life, but it doesn't mean they do not exist in reality, especially vampire beings, when actually physical vampires do exist in other dimensions, and they are causing trouble here. And werewolf being, you just don't see them. But of course, that's up to you to tap into that. Greetings to you. We have the Arcturians. Blessings. Yes, as you are exploring your spiritual self on a throughout your universe, as you look at the constellations, yes, it's another way of knowing yourself, allowing more of your inner self to release from this earth plane. Because that's where you're pretty much, you want to connect to alien energies. There's Arcturians, there's Palladians, but there's all different types of alien energies out there. But also knowing your place there, but also the spirit guide sense that's there too. Because of course, if you had an incarnation on another planet, and they know, and you had conversations that are going to incarnate here, a lot of them do become your spirit guides. Once again, a lot of alien beings are at a higher dimension. Of course, their higher self can assist you as a spirit guide also. So who better to know you than those that you've just had an incarnation with? So this is another way of going outside of the norm of what you've been told. Yes, alien energies of all types. You'd be surprised how many reptilian beings are spirit guides to those in sports, especially the more popular sports. CEOs are known to have archon beings as their spirit guides because they're there to take energies from other. Not all CEOs always, but quite a few. Some are power hungry, and that's an archon energy to create your reality. So they find someone creative, they leech onto that person that's running your society, and then they want to keep you in the commerce, buying things like that. Walmart has a strong archon energy, siphoning, vampiring society's energy. There'll be a day when you don't need Walmart anymore. You just connect to energy. Of course, you have some time for that, but when it's just energy, you don't need to, mow your lawn anymore. Well, you can mow it with your mind, or let it grow, whatever works. You're just going to a higher plane of consciousness. Obviously, many are not going to be comfortable for that. But what does that exactly feel like? Well, yes, exploring other places in your constellation knowledge that is known and following your intuition. And this is another way of you breaking free of all of this. Because there will be most likely a place that talks to you, such as the dog star and so forth. Polaris also. It's just places that will start to speak to you and you just start knowing more about yourself. And while this whole human development, you can say experiment coming to an end, doesn't mean it's going to come to an end anytime soon, but it's basically open up your higher chakras, basically. And also for you to manifest, at least have a better understanding of your existence. And that's the other thing is just hearing your spirit guide energies, because they are whispering a lot, but many aren't really understand what they're saying. It's like, especially when you hear something you don't want to hear. So there's a lot of, so it's just remembering where your origins of your soul is. There are many different places. Orion is like a school where many souls go to Orion before they incarnate here. But there's plenty of other places, especially constellations you haven't heard of. Be surprised how many have connections there. They're actually spirit guided energies, because those spirit guided beings are not part of all of this drama that you're going through. They have an outsider's point of view. So it's like a constellation that is pretty peaceful, but they can see your problems really easily. So, and isn't that important? Seeing your own problem is difficult, but they can see it. And yeah, it's just, you're going to feel a lighter energy coming to your earth, is what we feel. Individually. As for your, what is this, your UFO disclosure energies, of course, yes, your earth is getting an upgrade. You can say it on a spiritual level, but it's on a human level. A human level, what humans, yes, want to be spooned information. Well, there's a lot out there they're not really ready for. Well, you're going into a time where telekinesis becomes more part of society too. Obviously, they're going to have a 60 Minutes, but I'm going to have an interview about that. I mean, it's like, for some of you, it's so easy, but for the regular humans, they're like looking at it, they need to call in a science professor to understand it. But for some of you, just want to reactivate your powers. You see how headstrong society is. And yes, it has a lot to do with how humans have been raised here, of course. Well, they've been raised to go backwards by design, but you can say that was collectively agreed upon, obviously. I mean, you can say there was a hijacking there too, and yes, but it was all agreed upon. You wouldn't be here for, many of you incarnate here to put things right. So yes, you did agree upon being here, but to clear out the manipulations. So you wonder why you're here, why it comes to this messed up world. We come here to untie the knot. It's not an easy knot to untie, as you can see. Many of you come from the sixth dimension. You come from higher, but a lot of you come from the sixth dimension. And you can kind of remember those energies. The alien energy is more of a peaceful reality above all the nonsense. Of course, there's the ninth dimension also. But a lot of you do come from the sixth dimension. Well, because the sixth dimension, you can handle this environment a lot easier. A fourth dimension being too, but at ninth dimension, they can't always handle this environment unless you have trained yourself to have stress. Because a lot of beings you're getting messages from the ninth dimension. They don't even know what stress is anymore. They have stress and nowhere near as like yours. So they're doing other things. It's really hard to see what they're going through, but they don't have, they don't sweat. They don't have to change their clothes, things like that. Usually not. Normally not, but the sixth dimension, it's a little bit closer to your reality, at least the beings that are assisting your world. So, I mean, you can say in the ninth dimension they have it doesn't matter. Well, the ones that come here, you're prepared to be here, meaning that the whole human experience, wherever you come from, you've experienced, putting on clothes, going to a job, something that's similar to this planet. Of course, some of you have been taught to insectoid beings, when you go to work, or reptilian beings, or two-headed beings. Okay, that's the difference. You might be blue-skinned. You might be able to shapeshift. There's slight differences, as you can see. But overall, you still have the human experience somewhere in your other experiences before you incarnated here. Or yes, you're a feline being and so forth. Yes, you're a dog driving a car, and they do have that somewhere. So it's basically what you're here to break open the mold of what has traditionally been taught, so you can go to another higher level. So, and that's what basically just allow yourself trusting yourself. Yes, trusting yourself, but also trusting the spirit world, trusting that everything will work itself out. Yeah, it's just like I don't know where things are going to go, but just trust. It's like being on a roller coaster. Just trust you'll survive it. It's the same type of thing. Because some people sabotage themselves very quickly. It's like you don't know where life's going to go. It's like I'm not always liking this situation, but I'm just going to trust it. And that's very key to your survival here. Well, it makes things easier, let's put it that way.